Hello again and welcome back for another edition of London Direct. The oil price remains interesting at the moment. It has been ticking up quite steadily despite seemingly everyone saying the fundamentals remain weak. To find out why, I've been speaking to Robert Montefusco from Sucden Financial. Rob, last time we spoke, you said the same as many, that the fundamentals were all pointing to a weakening of the price. And still many are saying the same, but that just hasn't happened. The oil price keeps appreciating. Can you find a good reason for that?
Well, several reasons. One right now, which is a bit of a shock in the region, where the attacks are going on at Yemen at the moment. OK, they don't produce much oil, but instability in the region causes price spikes. We're worried about what could happen in that particular region, maybe losing. Well, there's about 5 million barrels per day worth of trade going through that area. It's a major shipping route down there, and there's several oil facilities around. So although we're not losing any oil yet, it's just instability in the region that we're worried about. I've
also been reading many speculators, hedge funds, are also betting long on oil still. I'm wondering, what is the influence of those hedge funds? Is it just simply a game of supply and demand in terms of oil price, or do these hedge funds have a real impact?
Well, they do. I mean, obviously, the hedge funds, they've got to look at what's going on fundamentally. They've seen oil hit a very low price. Now, they know there's record production coming out of the US, but what we're seeing now is a lot of that production coming off, because a lot of it is shale productions and the costs are relatively high. So the margins are being squeezed. So what we're seeing down is a lot of rig closures, or rig counts are dropping, closures of wells, and the fracking is ceasing.
But oil production in the US is remaining the same, isn't it? That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing there, that is, but I think we're at a plateau now. That's what we're seeing. There's not much more coming out. We're starting to see the dollar slip just a little bit for the time being, and that's been skyrocketing, and that's caused oil prices to come off a bit. But now that's weakening a little bit. I think it is going to be a slightly more demand, because as economies grow, we will get the demand there. But the production, I think what the analysts are looking at is probably plateaued right now.
What's OPEC playing at the moment? Because March was very interesting. They're producing more oil, which seems to go contrary to the whole point of the cartel.
I mean, because they were pretty ineffective last time. And now, what they're seeing, OPEC, OK, we're going up to our full pelt here. What they're looking at is they can't control the whole world supply, because OPEC is probably between 30 and 40%. They can't control what's going to be happening in the US, which we've seen is record production still coming out there. They can't stop the Russians from overproducing. So the way they're looking at it, the Saudis are going full pelt with their production, 10.3 billion barrels. It could probably increase to 11 when we start getting extra demand for air conditioning. And then that way, they may be forcing the hand of the shale producers in the US, because as the price is driven low, they're not cost effective over there. So they will have to shut. So I think that's their game plan at the moment. And it seems to work, because what we're seeing, there's the record production over there, but the shales are starting to shut down a bit. And that's why I'm saying it's plateaued there. And consequently, the price has started to come back up a bit.
Yeah, let's look at the demand side of things. There was much written about China stimulating its economy again. Is that demand from China really there? Because as I understand it, their reserves are already as full as they can be.
Well, pretty much there's a lot of reserves going in there. They're processing a lot of crude now. So it's going into they're exporting more. I think what's happening there is the stocks have dwindled down and they're processing more, but they're going to be going in a period of maintenance. So they produced a hell of a lot last month just to get ahead of the game. So a lot of it is still, as you say, going into strategic supplies. Growth is steady at that 7% over there. They are looking to, conduct more stimulus into the markets. They're looking at the bank ratio, reserve rates to try and stimulate more loans and more free-flowing money. Yes. But as with oil, there always has been demand there, but it's not super growing as it was before.
Yeah, let's finish off trying to pin down where the price is going to move forward over the next month or two. I think Bob Dudley said lower for longer is how he's putting the oil price over the foreseeable future. What do you think it's going to be like?
Well, where we are now, we're like going towards $65 on the Brent, probably lower, under 60 in the TI. It all depends. If you look at this, if this production in the US does start to fall, because there's a lot of these shale guys waiting to put their production back on. So it's a weird scenario, because if we start tipping above 65 going to 70, these shale guys will go back onto the market and start selling again, or start drilling again, should I say, and then because it's profitable again. So if that does occur, then the cap might be just a bit higher than here at $70. And, you know, we'll be probably looking at that range in there.
So basically, you think we're going to be in this range between 65
I think we will be a range, because people are waiting to drill more, but the price needs to go up. So as we go up, I don't think it'll accelerate too far above that. But we do have to watch what's going on in Yemen. You know, that could be a problem, and it could escalate. And if that does, then that will explode nearby anyway.
Well, thanks to Robert. Stay tuned to Scrubby TV for more interviews, but from London, goodbye for now.